October 2024. Time 12 noon. Venue Asney Car Park, number 2 Lewis Drive, off Sunny Abacha Road, GRA, Port Harcourt. Grab your tickets now at anyticketplug.com or at Eden Kingdom Lounge. Tickets would also be available at the event gate. See you at the Port Harcourt Photography Festival. This event is proudly sponsored by Budweiser, Descent Digital, Pop Cola, Portland Resort, Grand Oak, X-Squeeze, Mamuda, Dovini, Golden Tulip Hotel, Viva Mark, Oil Zone 1 Church, D-Joe Printers, Eden, Gainbox, Wish FM, Atlantic Television. This event is powered by Ace Photography.
This is ATN Global News. First, the headlines. Appeal Court affirms Amehule as Speaker. Court jails Lebanese over teenage girls. Rep celebrates International Day for Girl Child. NLC demands reversal of fuel hike. EU plans to deport migrants. NFF rejects poor treatment against Libyan team. My divorce almost took my life, repairs.
Hello PHCT! It's about time for the Port Harcourt Photography Festival 2024. Get set to create, explore, and capture at this year's festival titled Colors and Memories. Date Saturday 12th October 2024. Time 12 noon. Venue Asney Car Park, number 2 Lewis Drive, off Sunny Abacha Road, GRA, Port Harcourt. Grab your tickets now at anyticketplug.com or at Eden Kingdom Lounge. Tickets would also be available at the event gate. See you at the Port Harcourt Photography Festival. This event is proudly sponsored by Budweiser, Descent Digital, Pop Cola, Portland Resort, Grand Oak, X-Squeeze, Mamuda, Dovini, Golden Tulip Hotel, Viva Mark, Oil Zone 1 Church, D-Joe Printers, Eden, Gainbox, Wish FM, Atlantic Television. This event is powered by Ace Photography.
And now the news in details. Right Appeal Court has affirmed Right Honorable Martins Amehule as the Speaker of the Rivers State House of Assembly. Unanimously, all the 3 judges of the Court of Appeal agreed with Justice Omotosho's judgment, recognizing Martins Amehule as the authentic Speaker of the Rivers State House of Assembly. The court further slammed the 500,000 naira fine against the appellant in the suit, insisting that the appellant, Governor of Rivers State, treated the court's order with disdain, adding that the quorum of the House of Assembly shall be the 1/3 of its members, and 4 out of 30 cannot form a quorum. The court said democracy is anchored on the rule of law and not rule of might, as seen in the action of the Governor of Rivers State, and according to the judgment, all expenditure done by the Rivers State government without the appropriation of Right Honorable Martins Amehule is illegal to the extent of his expenditure. By this judgment, all laws made by the Rivers State House of Assembly led by Martins Amehule, including the extension of the tenure of the local government chairman, remains valid. Analysts has blamed the police for contributing to the killings in Rivers local governments Council. Speaking on Atlantic Television Network Open Program Conversation, social political analyst Ibiokun Bob Manuel said the reactive nature of the police resulted in the burning of some local government council in Rivers State.
Directive after the incident, without maybe conceding, but I want to feel that the police were not proactive, and that somehow led to also what we saw there. Knowing that for 3 months there have been an occupation of a place for unforeseen reasons or for security reasons, pulling out as a result of maybe an election being held, there should be a smooth transition of that environment. And ordinarily speaking, where proactive police intelligence would have gone beyond, of course, because the previous day when the chairman were being sworn in.
On his part, Chizi Yemasila said investigation is a process and it will be unprofessional if the police immediately uncover the perpetrators.
A process. Investigation is not just something, even the known actors, if you arrest a known actors, it is not even, how will I say, a professional to bring them to the public immediately. That's because everybody who is known to that known actors or who is connected to that crime will run away. And so what the police will do is to use that known actor to begin to get other persons who are involved, because no crime is committed by just one person. There are connection is a system. And so
this comes after the Rivers State Police Command commenced a full-scale investigation into the post-election violence that rocked several local government areas of the state, leading to the loss of life and the razing of 3 local government areas on Monday. Away from that, some communities in the southern Niger local government area of Bayelsa State are devastated by 2 fresh oil spills that have spread into adjoining streams, creeks and farmlands. The spill, which occurred on Friday, October 4th, on the 14-inch Obonbiri Tebidaba pipeline owned by Oando, have affected Obonbiri, Keme Ebiama, Kolokobene, Barano, Apoy and Ukebie communities. An environmentalist, Alagwa Morris, Deputy Executive Director, Environmental Defenders Network, said the twin spill points at close to that of an earlier spill on the pipeline on September 5th, and the oil spill has spread to Ogweri Stream, Apoy Creek, and several communities downstream of the spill site. The Environmental Defenders Network has called on Oando to immediately mobilize to mop up the spilled crude, while urging the National Oil Spill Detection and Response Agency, including governments, for adequate response. Nigerian Navy says troops from Operation Delta Sanity have achieved significant success in the Niger Delta region after destroying 124 illegal refining sites and arresting 55 suspected oil thieves and illegal refinery operators over the past 4 months. The flag officer commanding Central Naval Command, Rear Admiral Samson Bura Wugo, disclosed these to journalists in Yenagua, Bayelsa State, said about 116 wooden boats, 543 dugout pits, and 64 storage tanks were also destroyed, along with the arrest of 6 vessels in the last 4 months. Rear Admiral Bura said various items and equipment used in constructing illegal refineries were seized and the operations were conducted in line with existing regulations, urging that the Nigerian Navy's efforts to combat illegal crude oil refining and theft have positively influenced the nation's oil production. He also expressed gratitude to other security agencies, maritime stakeholders, community leaders, youth, and all well-meaning Nigerians for their ongoing support and collaboration in the fight against crude oil theft. Federal government has distributed over 5,000 10 kg bags of rice, 500 bags of fertilizers, 500 POS machines, and 300 pieces of gas cylinders to the less privileged people in Anambra State. The Minister of Women Affairs, Uju Kennedy Ohaneye, who supervised the distribution at the Ndi Iche Hall, Umodioka community in Oka South local government area of Anambra State, assured the people of President Bola Tinubu's commitment to their welfare and security. Speaking in her address, Kennedy Ohaneye urged the people to exercise patience with the President Tinubu to enable him to clear the road he met on the assumption of office, and appealed to Nigerians to exercise patience with the President, saying that before the Tinubu administration came to power, a lot of things had gone wrong, which the President was working very hard to fix. She said the palliatives were donated to the less privileged to help cushion the effects of the current challenges as a result of some economic policies of the government, and she was physically present during the distribution to ensure that the palliatives got to the targeted beneficiaries, assuring that the era of diversion of palliatives was over. The minister promised further incentives in the coming days, including cash loans and agricultural inputs, among others. Group of sports journalists was kidnapped in the Iseke community of Ihiala local government area in Anambra State. Eyewitness said they were traveling to Uyo, Akwa Ibom State to cover Nigeria versus Libya African Cup of Nations qualifying match, which is scheduled to take place at the Godswill Akpabio Stadium in Uyo in a bus through Iseke around the Ihiala area on Wednesday when they were kidnapped. Meanwhile, police authorities in Anambra State have confirmed the incident. The spokesperson for the State Police Command, SP Tochukwu Ikenga, said 6 members of the crew had been rescued. Police operatives in Enugu State have apprehended Dr. Emmanuel Ugumba over allegations of child trafficking and forgery in Udenu local government area. The spokesperson for the Enugu State Police Command, Daniel Ndukwe, who confirmed the arrest in a statement, said officers from the command's anti-kidnapping tactical squad took Ugumba into custody on September 28th. Ndukwe said his arrest followed the interception of a public notice on an abandoned child he made, endorsed in the name of the Enugu State Ministry of Gender and Social Development as the director of OTZ. The suspect was also found with different documents from the Ministry of Gender Affairs and unverified pest and vector certificates from the Enugu State Ministry of Environment and Mineral Resources. Away from that, 81 Division of the Nigerian Army has launched an investigation into the circumstances surrounding the death of a police officer following an altercation with a soldier in Lagos on October 9, 2024. A statement issued by the Deputy Director of the Army Public Relations, Lieutenant Colonel Olabisi Ayeni, the division expressed regret over the incident, which stems from a disagreement over an alleged traffic rule violation. This is coming after the soldiers attached to the Ojo Cantonment Barracks, led by a yet-to-be-identified colleague who was accosted for driving against traffic, stabbed the policeman, Saka Giniyu, to death, adding that the soldier involved in the tragic event has been apprehended and handed over to the military police for investigation and disciplinary action. Describing the incident as highly regrettable, the Army expressed its commitment to upholding the Nigerian Army's Code of Conduct and Rules of Engagement, adding that the Army has consistently cautioned its personnel against any conduct that would damage its reputation or strain relations with other security agencies and the public. The GOC of the division extended condolences to the family of the deceased officer and the Nigerian police force, while assuring that a thorough investigation is underway to ensure that justice is served, adding that the division reaffirmed its dedication to maintaining professional standards and safeguarding public trust during and after the investigation. Honorable Minister of FCT Yeso Wike has declared his intention to give full support and co-host the African Military Games coming up on November in Abuja with the Nigerian Defense Headquarters. The minister declared this in a press briefing in Abuja. Given his word, the Games' benefit is not for military but FCT and Nigeria at large. Our Abuja correspondent Joseph Moses Mayuyinka reports.
Federal Capital Territory Administration (FCTA) and Nigeria Defense Headquarters is working rapidly to meet up the target of hosting 3,000 athletes of the African Military Games coming up on November in Abuja. In a press briefing in Abuja, the Honorable Minister of FCT, Barrister Yenson Wuke, said the FCT administration is ready to receive and co-host the 44 African countries who have registered to participate in the military African Games, giving full assurance of the safety and comfort of their stay in Abuja City.
To be the chief host of these unimportant military games that involves all countries in Africa. What you have done is to take the bull by the horn and showcasing Nigerians and Abuja in particular to the entire African world. You cannot understand the impact this will have on the FCT and Nigeria in general. First of all, we want to appreciate the fact that FCT, the capital of Nigeria, is safe and that extent Nigeria is safe. Where you have about 3,000 people coming to a city that you go, you can see what they will go and put. There will be our ambassadors and tell outsiders that look, indeed, we just one of the best cities in Africa, and indeed Nigeria is really moving forward. On our part, we have said so before, and I want to reiterate that this opportunity will not let it go. We'll do everything to give it the necessary support so you can have a successful hosting, and your colleagues will be proud of you.
The Chief of Defense Staff, General Christopher Musa, appreciated the FCT Minister and his team for their interest to support and co-host African military games in Abuja, promising that the Nigeria military sport team will keep up to date to making Nigeria proud in their performance in the games.
As Chief of Defense Staff, I'm pleased to announce that Nigeria will host the African military games, a prestigious event that brings together military personnel from across the African continent to compete in various sporting disciplines. This event, which is scheduled to hold from 18th to 30th November 2024, presents a unique opportunity for our armed forces to showcase their skills, foster camaraderie among its participants, and strengthen military cooperation and partnership. It is also another means of our non-kinetic operations. The hosting of the African Military Games in Abuja is not only a testament to Nigeria's commitment to promoting peace and security in the region, but also an opportunity to demonstrate our capabilities as a host nation. The Games will provide a platform for our armed forces to compete at an international level, exchange best practices with their counterparts from other African countries, and build lasting relationships that will contribute to the overall security and stability of the continent. I want to sincerely thank His Excellency, the FCT Minister, for being a very wonderful good host. Like we said, we're very lucky to have him at this time when this thing is taking place, because we know it is going to be world standard.
Other speakers were Chairman Organizing Committee of the Military Games, Air Marshal Abidemi Marcus, and the President of the Organization of Military Sport in Africa, Major General Abdullahi Mekano, who stressed the economic significance of the African Military Games coming up in Abuja.
And by today we receive almost about 27 final entry of our members that are coming to Abuja. And what's more interesting in this event is all the Nigerian neighbors are participating in this championship. We have Niger is coming. We have just received the entry list from Niger Republic. We are receiving entry. We have received entry from Mali, from Burkina Faso, from Benin Republic, Chad, and Cameroon. So we are very happy to receive these countries coming to Nigeria at this time to participate in this championship. And this is the luck the Honorable Minister is carrying right from the beginning up to today. So we thank you very much, sir.
As of today, we have 1,725 officials and athletes for that 27 nations. So our projection is to have 3,000 officials and athletes to be in Abuja for this game. And we'll be competing for 19 sporting events, all the ball games, and also combat swimming, obstacle crossing, taekwondo, wrestling, among others.
I am Joseph Moses Mawinka, Atlantic Television News, Abuja.
Kaduna State House of Assembly has dismissed claims that it is planning to amend the state's local government electoral law ahead of the local government elections stated for October 19, 2024. Chairman of the House Committee on Information, Henry Mara, who disclosed this during a press briefing in Kaduna, said no such amendment was listed in the order paper for the Assembly's October 9th session, while the clarification follows concerns raised by People's Democratic Party over the legitimacy of the upcoming council election. The PDP, through its state chairman, Edward Marshall, had alleged that the Assembly was working to amend the Kaduna State Local Government Law 2024 just 11 days before the poll, and warned that the party would not tolerate any attempt to undermine the electoral process, accusing the Assembly of plotting to manipulate the election by altering provisions related to the declaration of results and the appointment of collation officers. He stressed on the importance of transparent and fair elections, describing local government polls as a crucial aspect of Nigeria's democracy as guaranteed by the 1999 Constitution, and also cautioned that the PDP and the people of Kaduna would resist any attempt to rig the polls. He acknowledged that an earlier amendment had removed the use of electronic voting machine due to logistical challenges posed by the short notice for the elections, adding that the Assembly remained committed to serving the interests of the people and will not act in a manner contrary to their welfare, while the legislative body operates independently and without interference from the state governments. All Progressives Congress in Zamfara State says it received with shock and serious concern last Monday's attack on members of the state's Community Protection Guards, CPG, which left 9 members of the guards dead. A statement issued by the state party's publicity secretary, Malam Yusuf Idris Gusau, in Gusau joined other well-meaning citizens to condole the state government and the family members of the gallant CPG guards. He said the ambush by fleeing bandits on these security guards who sacrificed their lives in order to bring peace to our communities would definitely not go unpunished in view of the ongoing onslaught against armed bandits in the northwest states by the federal government, and will fish out the culprits and make sure they face the consequences of their actions. Away from that, 4 youths have been nabbed by the police for allegedly terrorizing a community in the Adamawa state capital, Yola, and charged with making life difficult for residents of Jambutu in Yola North local government area. The Adamawa State Police Command said in a press release signed by its spokesman, Suleiman Ngoroje, that the suspects were apprehended at Gorillo Junction, a place notorious for night and daylight robberies. The police said the suspects were found with dangerous weapons, including a dagger and a knife, and were also smoking dried leaves suspected to be Indian hemp. Federal High Court sitting in Kaduna State has sentenced a 67-year-old Lebanese Zuhia Aka to 14 years imprisonment for sexually exploiting 2 teenage girls. The National Agency for the Prohibition of Trafficking in Prisons, Kanu Command, arraigned Aka of Gida and Wanka, Unity Road, Faj local government area, Kanu, with a 2-count charge of trafficking and sexual exploitation. Delivering judgment, Justice M.A. Shuaibu held that the prosecution had proven its case beyond reasonable doubt and sentenced the defendant to 14 years imprisonment without the option of a fine, and also ordered the convict to pay an additional fee of 2 million naira for the offense. Earlier, the Prosecution Council and Kanu Zonal Commander National Agency for the Prohibition of Trafficking in Persons, Abdullahi Babale, informed the court that the Department of State Security Defense, Kanu Command, reported the matter to the agency on September 5, 2024. Babale said the defendant committed the offense on September 4, 2024 at about 10:30 p.m. at his house situated at Gida and Wanka, Unity Road, Kanu, and the defendant pleaded guilty to the charge, while the defense counsel, R.A. Kasili, pleaded for leniency on behalf of the suspect. In Jigawa State, Judiciary has inaugurated local government election petitions and appeal tribunals to receive and deal with election petitions arising from the local government poll held on 5th October 2024. A statement signed by Director of Protocol and Publicity of the State Judiciary, Abbas Rufai Wangara, said the judicial panel is expected to receive complaints from those who felt cheated or robbed off of their victory or any other negativities that emerged during the election across the state. The statement also said the local government election appeals tribunal is sitting at Jigawa State Judiciary Complex, Duse. You're watching the Global News and Atlantic Television Network. We will be back after this break.
The people of Maiduguri need your help. A catastrophic flood has engulfed the city, leaving over 1 million residents stranded and fighting for survival. Entire communities are submerged, with people trapped inside homes and on rooftops cut off from food, clean drinking water and essential supplies. Health experts are warning of a potential outbreak of deadly diseases, and medical facilities are out of commission. The situation is dire. Helicopters, boats and high-riding trucks capable of navigating the treacherous, waterlogged areas are urgently required to reach the countless men, women and children still awaiting rescue. The Nigerian media is issuing a desperate plea to the government, humanitarian organizations, international actors and citizens across the nation. Step in now, before it's too late. For more information on how you can help, contact Professor Usman A. Tar, the Honorable Commissioner for Information and Internal Security, Borno State, on 0809 233 3955. Every second counts.
This is powered by Atlantic Television Network.
Welcome back. This is the Global News and Atlantic Television Network. Now to the rest of our stories. Vice President Kashim Shettima has warned that children who remained out of school today could become a threat to their peers in the classroom tomorrow. Shettima, who disclosed this on Thursday at a conference organized by the Nigerian Governors Forum with focus on girl-child empowerment through quality education at the presidential villa in Abuja, stressed the urgent need for action to prevent future instability and social challenges. The Vice President, who was represented by his Chief of Staff, Senator Ibrahim Hadija, highlighted the urgent need to address the country's out-of-school children crisis and its potential to destabilize Nigeria's future. According to recent data, 25.6% of primary school-aged children and 29.6% of secondary school-aged children are currently out of school. The crisis is particularly acute in northern region, with some states facing staggering out-of-school rates, stressing that in KB, Zamfara, and Bauchi, for example, more than 60% of primary school-age children are not in school, while the secondary school numbers are similarly alarming, with Bauchi at 66.75%, KB at 63.8%, and Jigawa at 62.6%. The speech called for a multi-sectoral approach involving all levels of government, civil society and international partners to address the challenge, and also stressed the need for grassroots-driven reforms aimed at creating a safe educational environment for the girl child. As the world marks International Day of the Girl Child today, 11th October, parents, teachers and governments are reminded to take their role seriously in promoting girl child empowerment, education and rights, and solving the challenges girls face nationwide. The International Day of the Girl Child Day theme for 2024 is Girls, Vision for the Future. This year's theme conveys both the need for urgent action and persistent hope, driven by the power of girls' voices and vision for the future. Joseph Moses Mawinka reveals the significant impact on girl child education and empowerment.
Go! International Day of Girl Child is celebrated annually on October 11th. The day is aimed at promoting girls' empowerment, education and rights, while also highlighting the challenges girls face worldwide. The objective is to promote girls' education and reduce dropout rates, end child marriage, female genital mutilation, and other harmful practices, encourage girls' participation in STEM field and leadership roles, addressing gender-based violence, and ensure girls' safety, support girls' health, nutrition, and well-being, creating a world where girls have equal opportunities to thrive. Girls' child education has numerous benefits spanning from individual empowerment to societal transformation. Some of the most significant advantages include economic growth, which will contribute to economic development, improving their own financial stability and national GDP. Speaking with Mrs. Gold Fatima Iyabo, the principal of the Junior Secondary School, Gariki Area 11, Abuja, she provides answer to the question of how will you celebrate International Day of the Girl Child and what are the benefits of girl child educations.
To celebrate a girl child, we have what we call Girls Child Club. And from there, we gather all the girls together. We talk to them, advise them on what they're supposed to know and do for the betterment of their life. So from there, we are celebrating them. Because if we don't talk to them, educate them on their way forward, they may not know the difference between what is right and what is wrong. So by educating them, giving them advice and talking to them, I think it will go a long way to celebrate them. It's not only by giving money or giving items that children educated. One of the reasons why girl child education is very, very important and necessary. Apart from that, women were somehow very sympathetic with people. Even if our men are going astray, we have some word of sympathy. We have a way of talking to them so that they will do the right thing and come to the right level. So, but if a girl child are not educated, they may not be able to get all this idea.
The parents, you know, if you don't notice anything at all, school management we immediately call on their parents. We don't want them to hide under any reason. We call on the parents immediately. Yes. Yeah, that's it. We don't allow our guests to be moving around anyhow or talk anyhow. In fact, we moderate them, the way they talk, the way they relate with people, both people that they know or people that they don't know. Get the way they relate, the way they talk. And the academics, they are very, very... School management, we immediately call on their parents. School management, we immediately call on their parents. We immediately call on their parents. We don't want them to hide under any reason. We call on the parents immediately. Yes. Yeah, that's it. We don't allow our guests to be moving around anyhow or talk anyhow. In fact, we moderate them, the way they talk, the way they relate with people, both people that they know or people that they don't know. Get the way they relate, the way they talk. And the academics, they are very, very good. Yes. Thank you.
As Nigeria joins the rest of the world to celebrate the International Day for the Girl Child, the House of Representatives has urged the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency and National Orientation Agency, along other stakeholders, to collaborate with schools, community organizations, and religious institutions to educate the public on the drug abuse dangers and promote a drug-free lifestyle to make provision for rehabilitation. The Green Chamber also urged the Federal Ministry of Education to devise practical ways, such as implementing mobile education units or community outreach programs to cut out-of-school girls across the 36 states of the Federation, and urged the leadership of the National Assembly to see to the amendment of the Child Rights Act to provide protection for sexually abused children. It called for the provision of the necessary legislative support in terms of budgetary approvals to the concerned ministries in this regard, and also see to the domestication of the Child Rights Act throughout the nation through the Conference of Speakers. The House reached the resolution on Thursday that is plenary after a motion by Honorable Kafilat Obara to commemorate the 2024 International Day of the Girl Child was adopted. Presenting the motion on, Obara said, International Day of the Girl Child is a day adopted by the United Nations to remind young girls of their uniqueness, strength, and prowess.
The House is aware that gender discrimination is a global phenomenon that engulfed many nations of the world due to patriarchy and cultural stereotypes. While other nations have made giant strides in closing the gender gap, Nigeria is still grappling with these issues, starting from access to education, healthcare, and access to basic amenities. Despite Nigeria being a signatory to the Convention of All Forms of Discrimination Against Women, CEDAW, Convention on Child's Rights, and many others, like harmful practices like the female genital mutilation, is still being practiced in some parts of the country, which is a direct violation of human rights of women and, of course, the girls. The House is informed that recent analysis shows that girls are not only courageous in the face of crisis, but hopeful for the future. According to the World Health Organization, children growing into adolescence, especially between the ages of 10 to 19, have limited knowledge about the natural processes of puberty, sexual health, pregnancy, or reproduction. This period of their lives is a period of rapid development of knowledge and skills, learning to manage emotions, relationships, acquire attributes and abilities that will necessary for them to enjoy adolescent years and assuming adult roles. When they are sexually abused at this sensitive season of their lives, it affects their growth and development and their overall well-being, leading them to becoming dysfunctional adults in some instances due to psychological and mental trauma.
While calling on the leadership of the National Assembly to ensure the swift passage of bills that seek to protect women and the girls like the Gender and Equal Opportunities Bill, the Green Chamber further urged the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency and National Orientation Agency, along other stakeholders, to collaborate with schools, community, organizations, and religious institutions to educate the public on drug abuse. Senate has officially confirmed Professor Abdullahi Usman as the chairman of the National Hajj Commission of Nigeria. The confirmation of Usman's nomination followed the consideration and adoption of the report of the Senate Committee on Foreign Affairs, chaired by Senator Abubakar Bello on Thursday. Senator Bello, in his report following the screening conducted by the committee, said that Usman merited being appointed to head the nation's apex Hajj body. National Assembly correspondent Rotimi Adewoye reports that the confirmation was finalized with the supportive voice vote of senators led by the Senate President Godswill Akpabio.
The committee, having carefully and thoroughly screened the nominee and it is satisfied with his qualifications, exposure, conduct, character, experiences, and general performances. The nominee has displayed wide and in-depth knowledge of Hajj activities and operations. Therefore, the committee recommends as follows: that the Senate do confirm the nomination of Professor Abdullahi Saleh Usman for appointment as chairman of the National Hajj Commission of Nigeria. We so move.
Distinguished colleagues, will the Senate confirm the nomination of Professor Abdullahi Saleh for appointment as chairman of the National Hajj Commission of Nigeria? Those in favor say aye, and those against say nay. The ayes have it. The nomination of Professor Abdullahi Saleh is hereby confirmed as chairman of the National Hajj Commission of Nigeria.
With the new role, Usman is set to enhance Nigeria's Hajj management and services. Away from that, House of Representatives has rejected a motion on urgent public importance seeking the intervention of the federal government in the chieftaincy tussle rocking the Opella community in Sako East local government area of Edo State. The motion was moved by the member representing Isako East, Isako West Federal Constituency, Edo State, Dekeri Anameru, said while addressing the House during Thursday's plenary session, Anameru lamented the loss of lives in Opella owing to the violent reactions to the crowning of Lukman Akemukwe as the Okwobelebe of Opella by Governor Godwin Obaseki a fortnight ago. Consequently, while those in favor of the new king are celebrating, those against his voice, his chants have made their position public, a development that led to the outbreak of violence in the cement town last week, while calling on the Chief of Defense Staff, General Christopher Musa, to mobilize his men to Opala to restore peace. Anamero accused Governor Godwin Obaseki of installing Okemoke despite what he called the public outcry against his choice. House of Representatives has charged the Director General of the NYSC, Ahmed Yushau, and the Inspector General of Police, Kayode Betukun, to ensure the rescue of a missing NYSC corps member, Emeka Okeke. The call was made on Thursday following a motion on urgent public importance moved by Nolim Naji on the floor of the House. This is coming after Okeke, a graduate of Nnamdi Azikiwe University, Awka, serving in Akure in Ondo State capital, disappeared in May. Naji, in his motion, explained the efforts of the parents of the missing corps member to locate their son with little or no effort from the government, and also highlighted the several instances of attacks on NYC members in the place of primary assignment and lack of decent accommodation. Following the presentation of the motion, the House resolved that President Bola Tinubu should direct the two officials to provide security and decent accommodation to corps members, and also called for a coordinated search and rescue operation to locate the missing corps members. Analyst has condemned the Constitution for giving the federal government the sole right to create local governments in the country. Speaking in an Atlantic Television Network program, Open Blowout, public affairs analyst Chuba Obuzo stressed on the need for states to create local governments at the grassroots if true federalism must thrive in Nigeria.
By personal gazette had created most local governments in most of those states, whereas the cash cows of the nation, where everything comes from, are not even allowed to have such states, such local governments. It's a pity if anyone wants to fault the former president, the president of Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, who, because of fairness, exposure, permit me, whatever excuses anybody wants to make for him, allowed Bayelsa State to remain with an 8 local government states that was created by the federal government. It's out of the wisdom of the state by itself, the hardest state, local government that is being funded from the state coffers. Then how then do they be completely, autonomous? So you now ask yourself that, you now tell yourself, these are the serious issues as a people that we are looking at. We are looking at serious issues that should be checkmated from one area or the other. Do not forget, till today as we speak, however the noise and the hues and cries that the former president had to even pay billions of naira to the Zamfara state government in the importation of, in the mining of gold. They turned all the illegal miners of gold in Zamfara state to become local artisans. Now you ask yourself, in the Niger Delta region, the Fire boys can never be turned into...
On his part, Mufasa Eyimosa said members of the National Assembly should deliberate on issues that enhances true federalism.
System also what it has to do with whether we are operating true federalism or untrue federalism. One thing I know is federalism is federalism. It's only in this country that you hear true federalism and the one that is untrue federalism. So for me, it shouldn't be a state of, your view of the road changes when you move from the passenger seats to the driver's seats or vice versa. Okay. The man has said something fantastic, but my position still remains that.
This comes after Bayelsa Governor Senator Doye Diri faulted Nigeria's brand of federalism, where only the federal government can create local governments, describing it as an aberration. Away from that, Defense Headquarters have responded to a viral video featuring ex-Niger Delta militant Asari Dokubo, who claimed he had the capacity to bring down military aircraft allegedly hovering over his house during the recent Rivers State local government elections. Dokubo implied that the aircraft were attempting to intimidate him due to his support for the elections, stating the federal government knows that he has the capacity to bring down any aircraft. In response, Major General Edward Buba, Director of Defense Media Operations, dismissed Dokubo's claim as laughable, asserting that Dokubo was merely blabbling and lacked the capability to challenge the military or bring down this aircraft, adding that various security agencies use aircraft and helicopters for national security operations and emphasize the military's adherence to professional standards within the bounds of democracy. Addressing unrelated reports of 13 repentant Boko Haram terrorists escaping from a rehabilitation camp with rifles, Buba clarified that the military is not responsible for the de-eradication, rehabilitation and reintegration program, and assured that steps are being taken to ensure the program remains effective. While recent operations against terrorists and bandits in the northwest, Buba highlighted the military's efforts of killing over 300 terrorist commanders in the last quarter. He also said the military has revised its approach in the region to replicate the successes seen in the northeast, with some wanted terrorist commanders now expressing intentions to surrender under the new Operation Fasan Yama. Court of Appeal sitting in Abuja has adjourned till October 31st, hearing of an appeal the indigenous people of Biafra filed to challenge its prescription as a terrorist organization by the federal government. A three-man panel of the court approved the hearing date after it directed the parties to file and exchange all the necessary legal processes in the matter, while the detained leader of the IPOB, Nnamdi Kanu, had earlier appealed to be joined as an interested party in the appeal. Specifically, IPOB, through its lawyer, Ifeanyi Ejiofor, is praying at the appellant court to set aside its entirety the ruling final decision of the late former Chief Judge of the Federation Court, Justice Abdul Kafarati, which on September 15, 2017, outlawed his activities in Nigeria. This is coming after the High Court prescribed IPOB as the strength of an ex parte motion the Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice Abubakar Malami San filed on behalf of federal government, while Justice Kafarati specifically declared as illegal all activities of the group, particularly in the southeast and south-south regions of the country. The judge directed the AGF to ensure that he published the order prescribing IPOB in the official gazette as well as in two national dailies, while in a follow-up ruling on January 22, 2018, the court dismissed a motion IPOB filed to challenge the legal validity of the prescription order, which it said was surreptitiously obtained by the Attorney General of the Federation. And IPOB has alleged that the AGF suppressed and misrepresented facts in the affidavit evidence he tendered before the court, adding that the prescription order was tantamount to declaring over 30 million Nigerians of Igbo extraction as terrorists. While dismissing the motion, Justice Abdul Kafarati said he was satisfied that IPOB constituted a threat to national security and rejected Ejiofor's argument that the group, not being a registered entity in Nigeria, could not be validly sued by the federal government. While the court said the fact that IPOB claimed that it was registered in over 40 countries in the world aside Nigeria did not exculpate it from legal liabilities if it was found to have by its activities violated any law in Nigeria. Defense headquarters says troops have in the last 1 week eliminated 165 terrorists, apprehended 238 others and rescued 118 kidnapped hostages in different operations across the country. The Director of Defense Media Operations, Major General Edward Buba, who disclosed this while briefing newsmen on the operations of the armed forces in Abuja, said the military also recovered 153 assaulted weapons and over 2,000 assaulted ammunition, comprising 81 AK-47 rifles, 23 fabricated rifles, 27 den guns, and 30 AK-47 magazines, among other items during the week. He also said the troops also recovered over 1,500 rounds of 7.62mm special ammunition, over 270 rounds of 7.62mm NATO ammunition, 20 motorcycles, and 45 mobile phones, while in the northeast, Buba said that the troops of Operation Hadin Kai killed 83 terrorists, apprehended 56 and rescued 50 kidnapped hostages with recovery of cake of items. He said a total of 47 terrorists comprising 22 adult males, 28 adult females and 24 children surrendered to troops between October 2nd and October 8th within the theater of operations, while in the North Central, he said the troops of Operation Safe Haven and Wild Stroke killed 19 violent extremists, arrested 56 violent extremists and rescued 69 kidnapped hostages. In the northwest, Buba said the troops of Operation Hadarin Daji and Wild Punch executed successful operations across the theater, killed 47 terrorists, apprehended 67 and rescued 47 kidnapped hostages. While the air component of the operations conducted air interdiction operations to the enclave of terrorist commander Ado Alero in Safe area of Zamfara, killing several terrorists hibernating at the location. Ahead of the 99th National Executive Committee meeting of the People's Democratic Party, the North Central leadership has started looking for a replacement for the acting national chairman, Umar Damagum. Additionally, the North Central caucus said the October 24th NEC meeting was crucial for the party's future and has faced significant internal unrest leading up to and following the 2023 general elections, while party members have criticized Damagum for failing to implement effective reforms and have held him responsible for the party's difficulties. The situation worsened when the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, continued to publicly criticize Rivers State Governor Siminalayi Fubara and the PDP Governors Forums regarding the party's structure, and the party's reputation has suffered and its influence has diminished due to the ongoing conflict. Consequently, stakeholders from North Central are calling for Damagum's replacement in accordance with Section 47, subsection C of the PDP Constitution, which states that where a vacancy occurs in any of the offices of the party, the executive committee at the appropriate level shall appoint another person from the area or zone where the officer originated from to serve out the tenure of the officer. Ologun Naba, a NEC member from the North Central, strongly said the meeting would play a crucial role in determining Damagum's successor. And now on his business news. Former Vice President Atiku Abubakar has criticized President Bola Tinubu's handling of the fuel subsidy crisis, referring to him as T-Pain in a tweet on Thursday. Atiku attributed the current economic challenges facing Nigeria to what he described as the haphazard and disingenuous approach of the Tinubu administration to fuel subsidy management. In a statement, Atiku expressed concern about the escalating inflation rate, stating that it is severely impacting the lives of Nigerians, and lamented that despite the growing hardships, Tinubu appears unfazed by the plight of the citizens. Federal High Court in Lagos has struck out a case by the Manufacturers Association of Nigeria challenging the implementation of the Band A electricity tariff review by the Abuja Electricity Distribution Company and 11 others. A statement by the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission said the judgment was delivered by the court, which considered all the parties' arguments and ruled that man's suit was an abuse of the court process, being premature and without regard to the provision of Section 51 of the Electricity Act 2023. It thus held that the suit was not instituted with due process of law and consequently struck out the case, while MAN had challenged the minor review of the electricity tariff by the NERC and filed a lawsuit at the Lagos Judicial Division of the Federal High Court. MAN also held that placing the burden of the tariff increase on only Band A feeders and leaving out other bands amounted to discrimination against such consumers, adding that the defendant must comply with administrative procedures for tariff review before rightfully implementing the April and May supplementary orders. Federal government, under the leadership of President Bola Tinubu, has secured loans worth $6.45 billion from the World Bank in just 16 months. The amount increased to the new figure following the recent approval of 3 new loans totaling $1.57 billion from the World Bank for various projects in Nigeria, and is expected to increase further in the coming months. This was as international lender approved no fewer than 36 loan requests to the federal government, amounting to a substantial total of $24.088 billion within 5 years, and aims at financing various development projects nationwide, arrive alongside increasing concerns about the country's escalating debt profile, as well as prompting questions about the sustainability of this financial commitment and their potential long-term effects on the economy. Some of the projects under Tinubu include loans for power, $750 million, women empowerment, $500 million, girls education, $700 million, renewable energy, $750 million, economic stabilization reforms, $1.5 billion, and resource mobilization reforms, $750 million. For many Nigerians, long years of infrastructure decay and increased unemployment have triggered an increased feeling of bitterness whenever they hear the government's intention to borrow. Nigeria Labour Congress and the organized private sector have called for the immediate reversal of the hike in the pump prices of premium motor spirits, popularly called petrol, by the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited. Retail stations of NNPC raised the price of petrol to 1,030 naira from 897 naira per litre in Abuja, and in Lagos it was hiked to 998 naira per litre from 868 naira per litre, while other locations witnessed similar price hikes as developments that trigger anger among Nigerians. The price hike, the second in 1 month, represented about 14.8% of 133 naira rise, and with the latest price adjustments, and means that in the less than 17 months of the current administration, while the price of petrol has risen by over 430% from May 29th, when it took over the reins of power. This development comes days after the NNPC decided to terminate its exclusive purchase agreement with Dangote Refinery, giving room for other players downstream to buy products directly from the Dangote Refinery. While the oil marketers said NNPC's withdrawal as the sole off-taker of petrol from Dangote Refinery meant the federal government had systematically stopped subsidy on petrol completely. Commercial fuel stations sold at 1,100 naira per litre, with many stations also shut down, which caused artificial scarcity of the commodity in Katsina State. The pump price in Ilorin, Kwara State, as of Wednesday evening at an NPC station was 1,045 naira. At Orange Global Filling Station, it was 1,300 naira. Renault dispensed at 1,210 naira, while Total sold it at 1,210 naira. Senators expressed alignment with the Supreme Court judgment of July 11, 2024, which granted financial autonomy to the 774 local government areas across the country. It faulted moves by some governors to enact laws to mandate the local government council in the state to remit allocation into a joint account. This is coming after Anambra State House of Assembly passed the Local Government Administration Bill 2024 amidst condemnation from civil society groups and opposition parties, including Labour Party lawmakers in the Assembly, alleged that the bill was an attempt by Governor Chukwuma Soludo to twist the council chairman into paying the federal allocation back to state, while some other state houses of assembly have also enacted bills regarding local government administration. On Wednesday at the plenary, the Red Chamber urged all three tiers of government to fully comply with the judgment and resolve to collaborate with the House of Representatives to amend certain provisions of the 1999 Constitution to ensure full implementation. And the resolution followed motions sponsored by the Deputy President of the Senate, Jibrin Barau, and seconded by Abdul Ningi and Tahir Monguno Woye, who informed the Senate that 9 other senators co-sponsored the motion, specifically alleged that some governors were enacting laws to mandate local government councils in the states to remit funds into the state local government joint account, which had been ruled against by the Supreme Court. You're still watching the Global News in Atlantic Television Network. Up next is International Tidbits. United Nations International Children's Emergency Fund has reported that sub-Saharan Africa is one of the most dangerous places for girls globally. In its latest report obtained from its ex-handle on Thursday, the region has the highest number of victims, with 79 million girls and women affected, 22%, followed by 75 million in Eastern and Southeastern Asia. 8%, 73 million in Central and Southern Asia, 9%, 68 million in Europe and Northern America, 14%, while 45 million in Latin America and the Caribbean, 18%, as well as 29 million in Northern Africa and Western Asia, 15%, and 6 million in Oceania, 34%. UNICEF estimates that worldwide around 370 million girls and women have endured sexual violence, with approximately 1 in 5 in sub-Saharan Africa suffering abuse before the age of 18. UNICEF Executive Director Catherine Russell has stressed on sexual violence against children is a stain on the moral conscience, adding that the new data compiled from national statistics and international surveys conducted between 2010 and 2022 aims to bring visibility to the scale of the crisis, despite inevitable gaps and underreporting. A regional child violence specialist based in Nairobi, Nakali Masku, said the far-reaching impact of the abuse and described it as generations of trauma endured by survivors, which has significant consequences on development efforts, especially education. EU countries have discussed innovative ways to increase deportations of irregular immigrants and rejected asylum seekers, including controversial plans to set up dedicated return centers outside the bloc. Far-right gains in several European countries have helped put immigration issues atop the agenda as Home Affairs ministers from the bloc's 27 states meet in Luxembourg ahead of a gathering of EU leaders later this month. Brussels said the ministers would consider whether the bloc should explore the feasibility of innovative solutions in the field of returns, notably the return hub concept, while France's new Interior Minister Bruno Retailleau said the talk come only a few months after the European Union adopted a sweeping reform of its asylum policies. This is coming after last year, less than 20% of the 500,000 people who were ordered to leave the bloc were effectively returned to their country of origin, following Eurostat, the European Union Statistical Office. Here now is ATN Sports News. Nigerian Football Federation has rejected claims of poor treatment by Libya captain Faisal Al-Badri. The NFF insisted that the Libya Football Federation created chaos for its own team, the Mediterranean Knights. The MFF's Assistant Director on Protocol, Emmanuel Ayabumi, said the Libya Federation only informed the NFF that its team was landing in Port Harcourt and not Uyo, adding that the Libyan delegation jettisoned road transportation arrangements made for them by the NFF and instead hired buses on their own. And now entertainment news. American singer and actress Jennifer Lopez has opened up about a messy second breakup with her ex-husband, Ben Affleck. The 55-year-old singer recently filed for divorce just 2 years of marriage and their second attempt at making things work after the first parting ways back in 2004. The couple split in April and the singer filed for divorce on August 20th, which was also their 2-year wedding anniversary. Lopez said her divorce almost took her life out for good. Almost took her out for good, but she did regret marrying Affleck. And that's the global news for tonight. Before we go, another look at the major stories. We told you that the appeal court affirms Amehule as speaker. Court jails Lebanese over teenage girls. We also told you that the rep celebrated International Day for Girl Child. The NLC demands reversal of fuel hike. And then that the EU plans to report migrants. NFF rejects poor treatment against Libyan team. And my divorce almost took my life, Jennifer Lopez. I am Wendy Aguma. Thank you for watching and good evening.